Hi, welcome to Studio Viv. I'm Viv, and today we're going to talk about Filmic Pro and if it holds up against the new iPhone 14 Pro's built-in camera. So if you do iPhone shooting, you probably already know about Filmic Pro. It's been the most popular iPhone video recording app for quite some time now, and it really makes sense why. It gives you a whole lot of control we didn't have with the iPhone before, all while only being $15 on the App Store. It allows you to change the white balance, the ISO, the shutter speed, the focus, and a whole lot of other camera-related controls. I personally love shooting with this app with the addition of a gimbal for stability, in situations where bringing a whole camera and the gimbal was impractical. But one day when I was shooting, I noticed something interesting. I was just trying to get a really fast video of something, so I did it in a huge hurry, skipped Filmic Pro by accident because I wasn't 100% worried about how it looked in the end, and I was going to miss my shot, and then I just pulled up the camera app and I thought, that's odd. This video is super stable even though I'm holding it in my hands and I'm moving in a car, and the colors are perfect. And then I went to a car show to do some shooting, and I used Filmic Pro for a while because really, how good could the iPhone's camera be? Then I used the phone's camera just to test it, and again, I was proven wrong. The video was more stable, had more contrast, and had overall better quality. So today, I'm really going to put them to the test. They will both go through 5 different trials to determine whether Filmic Pro can truly keep its spot on the phone video throne. We'll start with overall user-friendliness and how much control you have. Then we'll take a look at quality, the color and contrast, and the overall stability of the footage. So let's waste no time and get right into it. So the first comparison is the user-friendliness. So initially they look similar in the amount of controls, but in Filmic Pro, you open something and then there's something new, and then there's another thing you can open, and then there's more stuff. Whereas on the built-in camera app on the iPhone, there's pretty much just one menu you can open. If you don't already know how to use Filmic Pro, it's not exactly easy to navigate. It's not that difficult, but to compare it to the iPhone is much easier to just pick it up and know how to start shooting. So that point goes to the iPhone, but that takes us right into the control test. The iPhone is initially easier because there are significantly less controls, but then you realize you can't change the white balance or the contrast. There's only so many frame rates you can shoot at, and you can't change the focus on your own. So as much as there is somewhat of a learning curve, Filmic Pro gives you a whole lot more than just the plain iPhone. So the control test point goes to Filmic Pro. Now we move on to the video itself, starting with the quality. So unfortunately for Filmic Pro, in all the shooting I've done with the iPhone 14 Pro, I found that the camera itself has better quality. As much as I really wanted Filmic Pro to be better in the quality field, the iPhone footage just comes out cleaner. Would Filmic Pro footage be somewhat fixable in post? Absolutely. But in the fast-paced world we live in, a streamlined and efficient editing process is really important. So to get the quality you need without editing is always a plus. So along with the quality, there's color and contrast. In both apps, the color and contrast are immediately pretty good. The iPhones might be a little better, but because Filmic Pro has more options, it lets you turn up the contrast, and you can also shoot your footage in log, which shoots it super flat. It makes the shadows brighter and the brights darker. So it gives you more creative editing control. So this test ends up being a draw, giving points to both iPhone and Filmic Pro. And now finally, we have the built-in stability. This is something the previous iPhones have been missing. The built-in stability of the iPhone is, I kid you not, like having a gimbal without even having a gimbal. Filmic Pro also has 3 built-in stability settings, but I found if you go any higher than standard, it makes the footage blurry and it appears slower even. But if you do have a gimbal, then there's no need to turn up the stabilization because the gimbal handles it. Also, if you're interested in a good gimbal, there's a link to a whole nother video I made about the Osmo Mobile 6 gimbal. But for handheld shooting, the point is going to have to go to the iPhone 14. So now we've gone over the main differences, and the final score is Filmic Pro with 2 points and the iPhone with 4 points. So the final conclusion is only if you have an iPhone 14 Pro or beyond, Filmic Pro is really somewhat optional. It really depends on whether you want that extra control or if you just want the camera to handle the details. But if you aren't using an iPhone 14 Pro, whether it be an older iPhone or an Android, Filmic Pro is a must-have. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you don't have an iPhone 14 Pro, you need Filmic Pro because it just gives you all the control you normally wouldn't have. The only reason the iPhone 14 Pro doesn't need it is because of how updated the camera itself is. If you don't already have an iPhone 14 Pro and you're interested or on the fence about it, let this be a sign to get one. There's a link in the description to it and some other equipment that you might find helpful. If you like this video, you might also like the rest of my channel, so check out those videos and feel free to like and subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to add or content you'd like to see in the future, be sure to leave that in the comments. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, go make some awesome content.